And so it was like a light inside of me that said, you got to keep pushing because what you have inside of you, everybody has inside of them.
Welcome to the Soulful Reminders podcast, your go-to spot for spiritual inspiration, growth, and connection to your true self. I'm your host, Emily Kady. Each week, I invite inspiring guests to share their unique spiritual lessons and insights, helping us all remember who we are at our core. This is more than just a podcast. It's a vibrant community where we'll explore how to unlock our full potential and embrace our essence in every aspect of our life. Life can get busy and overwhelming, but here, we focus on those soulful nudges that remind us of our incredible power. Whether you're seeking wisdom, a bit of encouragement, or simply a moment of inspiration, you're in the perfect place. Grab your favorite drink, get cozy. Let's dive into this journey together because you deserve to shine your brightest. Welcome to Soulful Reminders podcast. Today, I am so excited and honored to have my dear friend and soul sister, Darnelle Parker, with me. She, as you have, many of you have watched our Monday Mindset. We've come together, we just have such a beautiful connection and want to share our how we navigate life together in our Monday Mindset. But today I get to have her as my special guest on my podcast and have her story be heard, because let me tell you, this is a powerful story. This woman just inspires me beyond belief. So, Darnelle, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Emily. This is amazing. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And definitely want to dive into my story and have this conversation because I feel like it could definitely heal others as well.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful story. So, can you share with us that one night that changed everything for you? And listeners, I do want to warn you, this is not necessarily an easy story to hear, but it's a really powerful one. And this woman is truly inspiring. So I
Yeah.
am so grateful for you taking the time to share this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for, um, again, the opportunity and also setting the stage for the audience to know that this conversation could be triggering for some. So if you're triggered at all, maybe take a step back and listen to it when you're able to receive this information. So just wanting to let everybody know. So yeah, so I'm Darnell Parker. Emily is my soul sister. We do the Monday mindsets together, tips and techniques and resources to help people kind of get unstuck and get out of their own way. And so for me, what helped me to get on this journey of spiritual awakening, I pretty much kind of grew up in this environment. My mother was very knowledgeable and a big reader on astrology, and we went to psychics and I had my first psychic reading when I was 13, and so that was an eye opener for me. And I've been studying law of attraction ever since then as well, and just a big proponent and a big absorber of just manifestation and metaphysics. So, but what really propelled me was my husband and I. We were actually having a wonderful evening in 20 June of 2012, where we had gone to an outdoor concert where we were living in New York. It was like an open park, and we went to go see Ziggy Marley, which I absolutely loved his father, and so his music I feel like resonates through him as well. And we had a wonderful evening at what we called the Art Park in New York, and had an experience that was magical. And so on our way home, we were just discussing the whole concert and how amazing it was. And we earlier that day, I have two little dogs. We didn't really give them their full walk in the evening like we typically do because we were rushing. I was leaving work and wanting to go to the concert, so we decided, okay, well, let's just take another walk. And it was about maybe 10:45 p.m. at night, in the area where I was living, or where we were living at that time, was very vibrant. Actually, they were even in my area. We're having an outdoor concert in the area, and it was a lot of people out. It was a beautiful summer evening, and a lot of people were actually walking on the bike trail, the pedestrian trail where we were, and this guy stopped us, and he was like, "Oh my God, you have schnauzers! I love schnauzers. I grew up with schnauzers." And so we had a really good just conversation back and forth, and we decided that was a magical moment, right? Just someone recognizing that the love in the dogs, and so we
And
continued.
just that whole setup, that whole evening of just being having a wonderful time at the concert, and here you're out walking on the path and there's other people and everybody just seems like they're in a really high space,
Yes,
happy place.
very happy place. Everybody, it was just the energy in the area, the stars in the sky. It was a beautiful, clear evening. Music was playing. People were eating at our in our building at a restaurant that was, on the ground floor of our building, and it was just amazing. It was a wonderful evening, and so Randy and I, my husband, we proceeded to continue to walk on the bike trail, and then all of a sudden, Randy screams out at me saying, "We have to run. We have to run now." So he grabs me and throws me on the ground because a car is speeding out of control coming towards us. And as you can imagine, the shock in my body was like just like trying to figure it out, right? So,
Yeah, could you even run?
like I
Or
was.
do you freeze? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so I'm looking, so the dogs are on a leash, on an extended leash, and so, my instant response would be to pull
Grab.
them closer, right? Right? Pull them closer into me,
Yeah.
so that we can all start to run. But there was no time. There was no time
Mhm.
to run. So Randy grabs me rather. I'm pulling the dogs. He throws me to the ground. The car comes through the stop sign and runs us over while we were walking. Unbelievable.
All four of you.
Yes, the car runs us over in the area where we were walking on the pedestrian trail, the bike trail. On the other side of us was a canal. And it was, again, in the evening, it was very dark. And the thing that Randy had shared with me later on was he knew I couldn't swim. So he knew he had to save me, um, to put me on the ground so that I wouldn't be propelled into the canal because it was so dark and he knew I
Wow.
couldn't swim. And
Wow.
so, this was like a story after, later on when he shared with me, and the car hit us head on and
Ugh.
knocks us both on the ground. And then the car plunges into the canal. Later on, what we found out is the guy that was in the car was drunk. He was a drunk driver, speeding out of control, and hits us with his car. So, as you can imagine, it was a very traumatic experience. And yeah, like I still can see the moments of one of my little dogs was not doing well, and he was taking his last breath, and I was just screaming out of control. Randy actually shimmies his body over to me to cover me up so that I wouldn't see my injuries. And he was talking to me to make sure I would stay, conscious and cognizant and asking me questions because my husband is actually a retired, captain with the fire department where we were living, and his EMT experience just automatically kicked in. So he was,
Yeah, he sounds
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, he's amazing.
Like, seriously, for him to just step
Yeah,
into that
because he
that
was
one.
injured as well, right? My injuries were more severe than his injuries. However, he just automatically goes into helping, right? And helping someone who's, in pain. And even at that moment, he had screamed out to the neighbors because, as you could probably imagine, it was so many people out. They all convened over to where the accident had just happened. So people were running over to us, and he was like, "Save the people, save the car, save the people who just plunged into the canal." And people were going to help and save them as well. It was just later on that we found out that he was a drunk driver, and unfortunately, just that whole experience was very traumatic.
I'm so sorry you had to go through this.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, it still sits in me, but I'm able to talk about it without fully feeling the emotions of it, right? But I do have, reminders because, as you probably can imagine, having that type of trauma still sits in your body. And, I've been, like I said, a part of like metaphysics and healing and meditation and yoga for many, many years. This experience is what really propelled me forward to really dive into being able to help heal myself, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really tapping into understanding how do I work on getting this PTSD out of my body, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, just through my journey, because I was in the hospital for like 3 months, and as you could probably imagine, it was, not a good experience to be in the hospital, and it was touch and go for many, many months, where there was a point where my left leg, my left ankle was so injured that they had to rebuild it. And it was so much debris and contamination from just being in that area that I had 13 surgeries to try to
So
heal my leg and
the
clean it up.
contamination meaning like infections and stuff?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Infections from, as you can imagine, like just the dirt,
right.
geese lived in that area, so then their, droppings and just,
Right.
the dirtiness of the canal and water. So it was just, yeah, my leg was infected. My left leg was impacted severely. And so, I can joke about it now, but I tell people I'm like the bionic woman. If anybody remembers that show back in the day, the Bionic Man, when they rebuilt
Mhm.
parts.
Yep. Yep.
I definitely feel like I'm the bionic woman. So, so yeah,
You
it was,
literally are 13 surgeries.
yes, later,
So
right?
you faced having your leg amputated, not just your ankle and
Yeah.
foot.
When the car ran us over, the tire ran over my ankle. So I only had like one vein and one blood vessel artery that was holding my ankle to my leg.
Oh my God. Oh, Darnell. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
extreme.
yeah, very extreme.
Ugh.
And so yeah, again, I never knew the extent of my injuries until later on. Once I had gone through, I think like the first surgery, and then of course family came to the hospital, friends were coming to the hospital, and I actually didn't even know they were wanting to amputate my leg until I heard it on the news. So no one had shared with me
Oh my goodness.
that they wanted to take my leg. I don't know how information travels so fast. This was back in 2012, so I know the internet is busy, but like the news had gotten the information, and we were on the nightly news, and we were watching the news in my hospital room, and I heard them say they were thinking about amputating her leg because it's so infected, right? And they don't know how they're going to repair it.
Oh my goodness. How devastating.
Devastating. So I
Was
look
anybody
around the
with you?
room.
Yeah, was
Yeah.
anybody with?
So Randy was there, his family, friends. Yeah, we had a full room, and I'm looking around like, who are they talking about? Like they're talking about me, like, and they didn't want to share with me, right? Because the doctors were sharing with Randy that, the possibility of the amputation, but we're going to do everything that we can. So he didn't want to put me into shock, right? So he was
Right.
protecting me, right? He
I
was
understand.
protecting me, right? And that's why the family didn't share because they were being prayerful, being very hopeful, um,
Mm-hmm.
and they were thinking positively, right?
Yes.
About the fact that this could be something good, right? Versus let's not focus on the negative, let's focus on the positive. So yeah, so when I heard that news, I was like, looking around the room like, who are they talking about? Because they can't be talking about me.
Wow. How did they respond?
Um, everybody was in shock, like myself.
Mhm.
Like, how did this information get out
Get
to the
out.
news, right?
Mhm.
And it was more like encouragement, like
Oh,
we're
what a
not gonna
beautiful
believe,
family.
yes, we're not gonna believe that. And I said that, I literally said that this is not going to be happening to me. So
Mm.
I'm going to fight for my leg, whatever I need to do. And I told Randy and I told the family that when the doctors come through, let me, come by, let me know, wake me up because I was on so much
Drugs.
medication, right? And I would just fall
I
out,
can't
go to
imagine
sleep.
the pain you were in.
Oh my God, I was in so much pain. I was, and I told the doctors, I was like, whatever you need to do, I want to fight for my leg if it's possible. So whatever we need to do, how do we preserve the leg, preserve the ankle, and allow me to be able to keep the leg? And so again, like I said, 13 surgeries later, and with so much love and prayers from my extended community, my work communities, just everybody just poured into me in so many positive ways. I felt all their love and I felt their healing energy going towards my leg. It was just a magical experience.
There's something to be said about the power of prayer
Yes,
and our mindset.
yes, exactly.
There's something there because if you thought differently,
Yes,
if you heard that and became, um, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say a victim, but just like bought into it,
yes, right.
your
If
outcome
I
would have
bought
been
into
so different.
that line of thinking, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it could have been totally different. It could have been opposite. But, I'm a fighter. I've always been a fighter. And I felt like there was something in my soul that said, fight for your leg, right? And I call it my God voice, right? My God voice was like, let the doctors know that you can definitely heal yourself, right? With their help, with their intervention, and we're gonna preserve the leg. We're going to figure out how to preserve the foot, ankle, and the leg.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're in the hospital for 3 months
Yes.
and you go through, I'm sorry, 13 surgeries?
Yeah. So I think in the hospital I might have gone through like 10 or 11. I can't actually even remember, but I did have a couple more surgeries after leaving the hospital. Yes, actually I did. I had 10 in the hospital and then 3 after leaving the hospital.
Wow, that's traumatic.
Yes. And
10 surgeries in 3 months alone,
yes, right?
and then
Yes,
three more the
after.
following 9
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. And my team, the team at the hospital I was in was absolutely amazing. They came and checked on me every single, like, multiple times throughout the day, of course, and explained things to me. They even there were some interns that were part of my surgeries that would come and check in on me because I guess I was making jokes when right before going under in the
Uh,
operation room. And they were like, "Do you remember saying, whatever I was saying at that time?" And I was like, "I don't remember." I do remember saying one time, like, "Why can't we all just get along?" Like that was one of the things that I said.
Oh, that's a really important message for today.
Yes.
I love that. That's who you are. That's like the essence of you. I love
I love heart. I love people and I just, that's just who I am at the core of just my personality is that I want everybody to get along. But it was so funny, like to hear the stories that are interns coming back and telling me what I said right before the surgery, right before they put me under. I guess, that was like the pre anesthesia to the full anesthesia.
but that shows like you were not giving up and you still were, like your subconscious was coming
Yes.
through as a joyous person
Yes, it
through
was.
this
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
such a traumatic and devastating point of your life. So I'm just like I'm such a dog person
Yes.
and you are grieving your one dog that you saw pass. He took
Yes.
his breath, and then you have another dog that you have to rehome because you're in no position to take care of her. It's a female?
It was a boy. Yeah, it was
A
a
boy.
boy.
Okay.
Yep. So both of them were boys. Yeah.
So you're in the hospital fighting for your leg,
Yes.
possibly your life because of the infection that could
Correct.
to your blood system.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
very dangerous.
Correct.
Um, you're grieving your dogs and you
Yes.
have this fight in you. What can you pinpoint, like, what kept you inspired through this? Because this is a lot for an individual to handle. And
Yes.
on top of it, you can't work.
Right.
I mean, you have medical bills accumulating.
Mhm.
There's a
Yeah.
lot going on in
Yeah.
that situation.
In addition to the fact I had just moved to New York like 6 months prior, so I didn't really know anybody at that moment except for Randy, um, and it was, you know, uh, the the thing, the couple of things that stood out for me was I was so in tune and clear about hearing my God voice, right? Hearing my intuition. My intuition was leading me the whole time while I was in the hospital. I think it was because I felt a lot of clarity in those moments. So, like for instance, I had my God voice speak to me and say, call two of my friends and my mom and ask them each or collectively to pray for me at 9 a.m. every morning before I go into surgery. And so they did that for weeks. So
Mm,
collectively, they got on a call, did a conference call, and they just prayed for me um, every morning. In addition to, others in my tribe, in my community,
right.
were
Mhm.
constantly praying for me. But it was something about my mom and two of my friends.
The pillars I'm seeing
Yes,
in the spirit realm, they were your
yes,
pillars. Mhm.
yes,
It's like
yes.
serious soul family that's like, we gotta hold her up.
Correct, correct.
Mhm.
And I felt the prayers and I
Mm,
felt the love so strongly from Randy's community, his family, my community, and that energy of love was really guiding me.
mm.
Yes,
Community.
yes,
We all need it.
yes.
Community and love.
And I felt my ancestors around me as well, right? And so I was close to both of my maternal and paternal grandmothers, and I just felt their energy very strong around me in the hospital and in the room, and I felt like I was being protected and guided and shielded.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you and I, or I know a little bit about your connection with ancestors, and it is powerful of really helping clear blocks from our ancestors. And I love that you felt your ancestors around you. You are really, truly rooted in that
Yes. Yes.
and in that work of working with them and connecting with them, not only for yourself, but for other people.
Mhm. Yeah. And the thing about it is that I knew inside that I had to fight not just for me, I had to fight for Randy and I had to fight for the future versions of the people that will be listening to this, right? Because someone, no matter what your life is like, will have moments or maybe one or many moments of trauma, pain, or, sadness in their life. And I knew that my journey would help heal someone one day who's hearing my story. And so it was like a light inside of me that said, you got to keep pushing because what you have inside of you, everybody has inside of them. And through my story, I will help to heal people through my words, through my actions, and through my healing process to help them overcome, get unstuck, remove limiting beliefs, whatever that is, their journey, to help them know that they're not alone and that they can do this. They have everything inside of them to live the best version of of their lives because if I can do it, they can do
This is exactly why I wanted you on today because your story is so inspiring. I mean, to be in the depths of the depths of the depths, like, and to not give up
Yes.
and knowing that your words can inspire those that may be listening to this podcast, whether it's this year or in the future. And
Mhm.
I see you on stages talking about your story too,
Thank
and
you.
really touching lives of those that just don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
of tough situations, and hearing your story and going, okay, if she can do it, I can. I
Yeah.
can't give up.
Yeah. And it was, I'm not gonna like pretend, it was not an easy journey, right? Um, it was a healing process. And I had to remind myself that you have 5 minutes every day to feel these emotions and what you're feeling. But we're gonna, after the 5 minutes is up, we're thinking positive, we're doing things, micro movements, micro progressions to help me get to that better version of myself, right? So the
So you
future
gave
version.
yourself 5 minutes every day to have your own little pity party,
Yes,
to
exactly.
really feel it and be
Yes,
100%
to
in that.
full out. And the way I did it, because I we didn't talk about Randy, but Randy was also injured. His injuries weren't as severe, but his left ankle was also fractured and broken. And so he was also going through his healing journey, also trying to support me. And I would just go inside of the shower and just cry it out for 5 minutes every day. Just cry it out, like full out cry it out because, I was healing and it was
Mhm.
traumatic and I was creating or living through a new normal of myself, right? And trying to adjust to this new version of myself because the doctors were optimistic, but they were realistic, and they were saying things like, you could possibly lose your leg, you probably will never walk again, or you'll probably be in a wheelchair forever, or you'll probably walk with assistive devices. And every time I heard that, I was like, that's not me. That is not me. That's not going to be my life. And I am
Mm-mm.
going to visualize me walking, and that's what I did. I started to visualize me walking every day. I start to visualize my leg healing. I start to visualize my foot being intact. And so I just did all the things to help me get to that future version of myself. And if you saw me today, you would have never known anything like this ever happened to me because I walk very
Yeah,
normal.
I didn't know. I met you back in November. I had no clue until I did a reading for you and I went into your past and I'm like, something happened with your dog and it was traumatic like 10 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how I
Exactly.
knew. Otherwise, you've never told me about it.
Yes,
And
correct.
I don't know if you don't talk about it or it just we hadn't gotten that close for you to
Right.
share it.
Yeah,
But yes, you walk like nothing's ever happened to you. You don't
correct.
talk about it as if it's part of you, as you still own it. Do you know what
Yes,
you
exactly.
like, as
So,
you're talking about it is in a very empowering way right now.
right, yeah. So I'm not in the story, but I'm on top of the story, right?
100%. Yes,
Yes,
100%.
yes,
Yes.
yes. And so, that took a lot of healing, right? Doing all the modalities to help me through like shamanic exercises, yoga, mindfulness, visualization. So I immersed myself into living the version of my life that I wanted to be, getting the tools and the resources to help shift my mindset. And just one quick example that I want to share is when I was in a hospital and I was going to physical therapy, there were three of us in there at the same time getting help through therapy. One was a young lady who had an injury, and I can't remember what her injury was. And then there was a older gentleman who was there who had broken his neck. He had fallen off the ladder and had broken his neck. And then I was there with the whole leg injury.
Mm.
And so I observed both of them. So every day I would come to therapy. The young lady, she was, feeling her trauma and very saddened, and she was not progressing at all. It looked as if she was actually regressing because she was just in a deep, deep sadness. And then the gentleman, the older gentleman, he came in jolly and happy and cracking jokes and just embracing everyone every day. And he started to progress. His like he was just paralyzed from top down, and then like every week I would see how he was progressing and progressing, and his mindset was healing his body as well. And so I modeled myself and mirrored myself after him and what he was really giving to me as a gift to continue to move forward, but think positive and to do the positive mindset shifts that you need to do to live that version of your life that you're wanting to envision.
What an amazing gift to be able to be in the presence of these two individuals, and one choosing to look at the outcome he wanted and the other one staying in the current circumstance and how
Right.
this impacts you. I know my spirit guides always tell me, don't look at your
Yes.
circumstances. Accept them, radically accept them. All
Yes.
right, we've got a problem.
Yes.
We're going to face this, but we're
Right.
going to focus on the outcome. And that's what you did. That's what this gentleman did.
Yes.
And it shows it works.
Yes, it does work. 1000 times infinity percent it works.
It
Yes, it
works.
works. Yeah. And
It's
just
taking that willpower because Darnell, you literally had so much internal strength to fight being that victim.
yes.
I can
Right.
only, if I was in your shoes, I don't know if I'd have that same strength.
hmm Yeah. I, I don't know. I mean, I know where it comes from. Like, I've always been a very strong person. Like, even as a little kid, I've always been like a leader, but it was outside of just my personality. It was more ingrained in my DNA. Like, God was telling me that you have to do this not just for you, but for all the people who are going to come after you that need to hear your story. That was just ringing so loud inside of me. It's like I was leaning on that, right, as my strength. It's like, okay, I know I'm here to heal not just myself, but to heal other people. And
Mm.
so I'm just so grateful. Looking back now, like it was really tough. It was hard. I'm not even going to say it was moments where I just really didn't even want to be here because of so much, so because the pain was so intense. Like there were moments when I was like, I would just rather not be here and go to the other side. But I knew like they were holding me together so that I can give others hope.
Mm, amazing.
Yeah.
So I know at the time that the accident happened, you were actually engaged to Randy and you
Yes.
were supposed to get married a year later.
Correct. Yes.
Can
Correct.
you share with us about the end result? Were you able to get married that on that same date, or did that have to be pushed out?
So no, actually we yeah, we made it work. While I was in the hospital, I was all I could think of me walking down the aisle. That was my vision is I want to walk down the aisle with no help. My brother walked me down the aisle, which was amazing. He did have to hold my arm a little, tighter just to give me support, but I didn't have a cane, I didn't have a wheelchair, I didn't have any of those things.
Uh,
I was so committed to healing my body and determined to walk down the aisle because I always had that vision for my life and it manifested
in 1 year from the
in
accident,
1 year from that.
after 13
Yeah.
surgeries. Oh,
The
girl.
accident happened in June of 2012 and we got married in August of 2013.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
Your ability to really go into the mindset and the power of the mindset to transcend anything
Yes.
is an incredible testament
Thank
to
you.
how powerful you are and how powerful each of us are if we can find that God mind in
Yes.
moments.
Yes.
As you look at your life before this tragic incident to now, can you see or share a little bit of the difference between the two Darnells?
Yes.
It's like BC.
Yes, right. Darnell, BC, right.
Yeah, right.
Darnell, AD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was bought into the mindset of you got to work hard, you got to, try to progress through life, go to school, go to college, get the job, get the master's degree, do all the things to live a life that I thought was going to bring me joy. And, I worked in corporate America for over 25 plus years in technology sales. And so what I would consider, and most people would consider, would be success and what that looked like at that moment in my life. And so I was on the grind. I was hustling constantly to be this version of what I thought success looked like. And what that accident did for me was it really started to pull back the layers. And I just really started doing some healing work on who the version that I thought I should be versus who I am going to be, right? So I was progressing into this light being, right? This positive, and I've always been positive, but I shifted my mindset around being present. So in everything that I do, I'm very present and very intentional on how I move throughout my life and throughout the world. And I will always want to leave love and connections with anybody that I connect with. I want them to feel the what I call the God love inside of me because they have the God love inside of them.
So how do you help people right now that are in that situation? Like they need help to find that God mind and navigate.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So, because of my personal experience and what I've been through, I've been able to, cultivate a what I would say a mindset no matter what you're dealing with. I help clients shift their thinking, their patterns, and their habits away from feeling like they don't deserve or they're stuck or they have limiting beliefs. And I create a space, a safe space for them to be able to fully share their experiences. And then we start to work on unpacking, how did this belief system, how did this start, or whatever this trauma was. Let's address it. Let's go inside. Let's heal the inner child or the inner wound. Let's work on that. Let's allow those things to have a voice, and that's progressively help them heal. And then let's talk about the future version of yourself, and here are the steps on how we get you there, right? And so I really focus on the soul assignment because that's what I learned about myself through this journey is that I had a big soul assignment and there was additional things that I needed to do, right? And so I am able to tap into that person's soul assignment to really help them get out of their current version and look into their future self and what they came here to do, to live full out.
Complete transformation.
Yes, transformation.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So how can people get a hold of you if they know they need to work with you or they want to explore working with you?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. And so for me, it's like I'm on Instagram at Life Coach Darnell. That's Darnelle. You can DM me, connect with me that way, and then also through my website. It's darnellparker.com. That's DarnelleParker, darnellparker.com. Yeah, happy
Awesome.
to share my journey with others. If you're dealing with something where you feel inspired just based on my story, if you want to learn more or even just kind of progress through whatever you're dealing with, I'm happy to help.
And I will drop your links below too, so people can access you through the description in this podcast. So um, I will say I have had a session with you. I think I've had a few sessions with you, and they are powerful, like literally energy shifting, waking up as a warrior. I'm like, wow, where did she come from? I'm so glad she's out of hiding.
I'm
Things will
so
shift.
proud of you.
Yes, talk about empowerment, just such powerful work that you do, and I am so grateful for you. Um, before we wrap up, do you have any messages for anyone that may be just in that dark night of the soul and they need some words of encouragement?
Yeah. So I would say for anyone that's going through a hard time or a challenging time, dark night of the soul, is that there is light on the other side. And I promise that you will get through this. I promise that you will get through this. It may be micro steps and micro achievements along the way, but give yourself grace, give yourself time, and give yourself love through whatever you're dealing with, what you're going through, because we seldom times forget to really love on ourselves when we're going through tough times. And so give yourself love and give yourself grace.
Mm. Beautifully said. As you were speaking, I was thinking of like a precious gemstone and how a gem has to go through like the chiseling away of the outer layers to find that precious gem. And then it has to actually go through the fire
Yes,
to get the shine and the
yes,
beauty. And so I was envisioning then that as you were giving your wisdom just now, and maybe you're just in the middle of the fire, maybe you're in the middle of the chiseling of the way, but the beauty comes from it
yes, exactly. Yes.
because that's what you are and
Oh,
what you've
thank
been
you.
through. Yes. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you. I think that's perfect. Do you have anything else that you want to say before we wrap up?
This was amazing. I'm so grateful for you, Emily, and this platform and all the success that you've had in your journey. I'm just so proud of you opening up this space for other healers and other people who are on their journey of just enlightenment. And so I just want to say to your audience, thank you so much for being a part of my life story, my journey, and I hope that this helps to heal you or someone that you know that might be going through a difficult time.
Absolutely. Again, Darnell's links will be in the description below. And if you feel led to reach out to her, please do. She definitely can help you navigate whatever you're facing and help you transform the life that you're currently living into the life that you want. So, thank you for joining us today on Soulful Reminders. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Soulful Reminders podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired and empowered by the incredible insights we shared today. Remember, every story and lesson we explore is a beautiful reminder of the immense potential that resides within you. As you continue on your journey, take these soulful nudges with you. Embrace your true essence and actively work towards unlocking your full potential in every area of your life. If this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And don't keep this goodness to yourself. Share it with others who could use this little reminder too. Until next time, keep shining your light. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Together, we can uplift and inspire one another to live fully and authentically. You got this.